You know that feeling when your phone buzzes and your entire world stops? I was sitting in a meeting. An important one. The kind where you can't check your phone without looking unprofessional. But I felt it vibrate. Once. Twice. 3 times. And something in my gut told me to look. So I did. The text was from Sarah, my girlfriend of 2 years. The woman I was planning to propose to in 3 months. I had the ring already picked out. The message read, "Babe, don't be mad. I crashed your car. My ex was driving, and we were just catching up. He's okay, though." I read it again. And again. And one more time, because surely I was misreading something. My car. The car I'd been saving for since I was 16. A 2018 Dodge Charger that I'd restored myself. Every scratch buffed out, every part hand selected. My pride and joy? But that wasn't even the part that made my blood run cold. My ex was driving. Why was her ex driving in my car? Why was she even with her ex? And what did catching up mean? I excused myself from the meeting. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock my phone. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I texted back. "What do you mean your ex was driving? Where are you?" Nothing. 10 minutes passed. 20. I left work early, my mind racing through every possible scenario. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe her car broke down, and she needed mine for an emergency, and her ex just happened to be there. Maybe. Then another text came through. "We're at the hospital. Come quick." My heart dropped into my stomach. Hospital? Was she hurt? I drove like a maniac to get there, every terrible thought flooding my brain. But when I arrived and found her in the waiting room, she wasn't the one injured. She was sitting there laughing. Actually laughing. With him. Her ex Derek. I stood there frozen, watching them. She had her hand on his arm. He was showing her something on his phone, and they were both smiling like old friends reuniting at a coffee shop. Not like two people who'd just crashed someone's car. "Sarah," I said, my voice louder than I intended. She turned, and for a split second, I saw guilt flash across her face. But then she smiled, like everything was perfectly normal. "Oh, babe! You made it! I'm so sorry about the car, but it wasn't that bad. Just a little fender bender." "A little fender bender?" I repeated, my jaw clenched. "You totaled my car?" "Well, totaled is a strong word. Where is it?" Derek stood up then, extending his hand like we were meeting at a business conference. "Hey man, I'm Derek. Look, it was my fault. I wasn't paying attention and... Why were you driving my car?" I cut him off, ignoring his hand. Sarah jumped in. "Okay, so here's what happened. Derek texted me this morning saying he was in town and wanted to catch up. We dated for like 4 years, you know, so we're still friends. My car was acting weird, so I borrowed yours. I didn't think you'd mind since you were at work." "You didn't think I'd mind," I said slowly, "that you took my car without asking to go hang out with your ex-boyfriend? You're making it sound worse than it is. Then why was he driving?" She hesitated. Derek jumped back in. "I offered to drive because Sarah seemed tired. We were just talking about old times, you know how it is. Then this truck came out of nowhere and..." "Stop," I said, holding up my hand. "Just stop. I need to see the car." They took me to the impound lot. And when I saw it, I actually felt my chest tighten. The entire front end was destroyed. Completely demolished. The hood crumpled like paper. The windshield shattered. This wasn't a little fender bender. This was a complete wreck. "How fast were you going?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Derek shrugged. "I don't know, man. Maybe 50? In a 35 zone?" Silence. I turned to Sarah. You let him drive my car 50 miles an hour in a residential area? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Sarah? Because from where I'm standing, you took my car without permission, let your ex drive it, and now it's totaled. So please, explain to me what I'm missing. She crossed her arms. You know what? You're being really unfair right now. It was an accident. Accidents happen. Why are you more worried about a stupid car than whether we're okay? And that's when I knew. That's when I realized this wasn't about the car anymore. This was about respect, trust, everything we built together. And she'd just thrown it all away. I didn't break up with her that day. I probably should have. But I was too angry, too hurt, too calculating. See, here's what Sarah didn't know. That car was insured under my policy, yes. But it was also registered under a joint title, because I'd been planning to give it to her as a surprise after we got engaged. I'd already added her name to the title months ago, which meant she was legally responsible too. And Derek? Turns out he was driving without a valid license. His had been suspended 3 months prior for reckless driving. I found this out after doing a little digging. Called the insurance company, filed a police report, talked to a lawyer friend of mine. Sarah kept apologizing over the next few days. But her apologies felt hollow. She was more upset that I was upset than actually sorry for what she'd done. And she kept defending Derek, saying he was a good guy who made a mistake. That's when I decided I wasn't going to just let this go. I told Sarah I forgave her, that we could work through it. She seemed relieved. She even suggested we all grab dinner together, me, her, and Derek, so we could move past this. I agreed. 2 days before the dinner, I contacted Derek privately. Told him I wanted to meet up, man to man, to clear the air. He seemed surprised but agreed. We met at a coffee shop. I was calm, friendly even. I told him I wasn't mad anymore, that accidents happen, and that I just wanted to understand what really went on that day. And he talked. Oh, did he talk? He told me how he and Sarah had been texting for months. Just as friends, he said. But then he laughed and admitted they'd been flirting a little. Nothing serious. Just fun. He told me about the day of the crash. How they'd gone to lunch first. How Sarah had been complaining about me, about how I worked too much, about how I wasn't exciting anymore. How she'd said she missed how things used to be with him. I recorded every word. The dinner came. Sarah was nervous but hopeful. She dressed up, done her makeup, clearly wanting this to go well. Derek showed up late, cocky as ever. We ordered food, made small talk. Sarah kept glancing between us, waiting for someone to break the tension. And then over dessert I did. So, Derek, I said casually, tell Sarah what you told me the other day. About the texting. His face went pale. What texting? Sarah asked, looking at me, then at him. The texting you two have been doing for months, I said, pulling out my phone. The flirting. The complaints about me. The part where you told him you missed how things used to be. Sarah's eyes went wide. I never. I have the recording, I said calmly. Would you like me to play it? The table went silent. Derek stood up. Man, I didn't mean it like that. I was just... Sit down, I said, my voice cold. We're not done yet. He sat. I turned to Sarah. You took my car without asking. You let your ex, who you've been emotionally cheating with, drive it without a license. And when it got totaled, you lied to me about what really happened. You made me feel crazy for being upset. Tears were streaming down her face now. But here's the thing, I continued. The car was insured. And because your name was on the title, you're liable too. The insurance company is coming after both of us for the payout. And because Derek was driving without a license, his part won't be covered." Derek's face went even paler. "Wait, what? You're being sued?" I said simply. "Both of you. For the full value of the car, plus damages, plus legal fees. My lawyer already filed the paperwork." Sarah was sobbing now. "You're suing me?" "No," I said, standing up. "I'm holding you accountable." "There's a difference." I dropped 2 20s on the table for my meal and walked out. It's been 6 months since that dinner. Sarah and Derek settled out of court. She had to borrow money from her parents. He had to sell his motorcycle. They're not together, by the way. Turns out their connection wasn't so strong when it came with consequences. I bought a new car. Not as nice as my Charger, but it's mine. And no one else has the keys. People ask me if I regret how I handled it, if I think I went too far. And honestly, no. Because here's what I learned. Betrayal isn't just about what someone does to you. It's about what they refuse to take responsibility for. Sarah didn't just crash my car. She crashed my trust. She disrespected our relationship. She chose her ex over me, not just in that moment, but in all the months leading up to it. And when she got caught, she tried to make me the villain for being hurt. So no, I don't regret making her face the consequences of her actions. Because sometimes, revenge isn't about getting even. It's about teaching someone that their choices matter. And that some things, once broken, can't just be laughed off and forgotten. My Charger is gone. But my self-respect? That I got to keep. And in the end, that's worth more than any car ever could be.